Right, so this next video is going to be riveting. Riveting. Are you having that? Right, the Cnip belt. Okay, I've riveted the buckle, all the little bosses onto the buckle. And they're obviously on one side because this side lays flat up against your body. And indeed the original had some remains of some broken diamond twill textile fastened to the back of it, showing it would be worn up against the body. But the strap end hangs loose. And in this instance it's got bosses on both sides, which is a little bit tricky. Now, the way I do this, start with a boss, and I'm using brass nails here which have got a head on them. Now this makes life a little bit easier. So if I basically just put the nail into the boss, I always cut the hole a little bit tight so it's a tight fit when I'm assembling them. If you've not got brass nails, or if you want to do it totally and utterly authentically and start with a piece of rod, I'd suggest threading a piece of rod onto here and then just using the dome side of a ball peen hammer or something, trying to work a little head onto it. It'll make life a lot easier, so that you end up making the equivalent of a little nail like this. Now, when you've got me all bloody butterfingers today. When you've got your nail and your boss-headed rivet like that assembled and together, make sure they're as far on as possible, and then thread. Can't seem to hold that. Thread the nail with the head on it onto the leather strap itself, onto the actual strap end. And I'm going to do this by hammering this nail through, and you have to make sure you aim for the hole you've made on the other side. You can see by the amount of times I'm dropping stuff how much of a pain in the backside this is, and that's completely lost now. So, nail with boss-headed rivet, try and hammer it through, try and hit the hole on the other side. Bingo, job done. Hammer that right the way through, nice and tight. Get your second boss-headed rivet, fasten that over this side. Now you might find that because the hole's smaller it's hard, so I often have a deeper hole here, smaller than the boss-headed rivet, but again, a bit like last time, the boss-headed rivet can sit in there and I can just knock that through and push it down nice and tight. So I've got that sat on there like that now. Now I'll take some snips, any snips will do, and cut this off as close to the boss head as I dare. Now this is often where people go wrong when they're riveting. They often leave too much and try and peen over too much on the rivet head, and this can end up distorting and twisting the rivet. The best thing to do is to file it down absolutely to within an inch of its life. So I have maybe 1/2 millimetre there, something like that. And then gently working around the stump you've got left, just try to slowly mushroom over the head of the rivet. You can check, sometimes the boss will start to wander left or right. If so, just give it a bit of a gentle tap from one side. And keep checking the other side too, because remember this is double-sided. Somebody enjoying their Sunday by ruining their exhaust. Okay, so that side's fairly well done. Now the downside of using nails is you've then got a big lumpy head on one side. Best way to deal with that is to just do the reverse. Take some snips and snip off as much as you can. File it flat to give you a nice surface to rivet from. And again, take it down as close as you dare. And working around, just try and spread and mushroom out the rivet head. work on making it nice and neat, getting rid of the jagged edges by just gently tapping them all down. And there we go. And again, I've just got another 7 to do on this here, and then the whole thing will be finished. One thing to definitely check, which I already have done, is that your buckle loop, and do this before you even start, that your buckle loop is big enough to incorporate your strap end and both rivet heads. I've had some awfully close run calls when I've not checked quite thoroughly enough before. So these are quite chunky little strap ends for quite small rivet heads. So there we go, I'll put a picture up of the finished thing when it's all done.